seated. All the honorable distinguished guests, delegates, resource persons of the technical tracks, ladies and gentlemen, of course, first, thank you very much for gathering here and welcome to the opening ceremony of International Conference on Contemporary Trends in Commerce and Management with a great honor. This event is conducted hybrid, where we have more than 50 presenters attending here in person at St. Francis College, Koramangala, Bengaluru. Among the 245 abstracts received, we have 148 research papers which were selected for publication. Participants from United States, Oman, Philippines, Australia, Romania, Singapore, and Malaysia have registered from the international countries, and we also have 114 participants who cannot join us in person, but they are able to join this using the connection of internet. I am Divya Shekhar, and I will be your MC until the ending of this opening ceremony. On behalf of the host and the organizing committee, allow me to extend our gratitude and our grateful feeling that we are here together to discuss various important issues on the global trends in commerce and management. Our event today will consist of opening ceremony, keynote address, and the first session of online and offline technical tracks, simultaneously on contemporary trends in commerce and management in the forenoon. Our post-lunch session will consist of panel discussion on sustainable business practices, balancing profits and ESG factors, followed by closing ceremony in which shall be announced the Best Paper Award. Let us begin this auspicious day by seeking the blessings of Almighty Lord. Please be invited to the stage, the college choir team, for prayer. Kindly rise for the prayer.
Check, 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 check. Check.
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands had made, I see the stars, I hear the mighty thunder that bow throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. But when I think that God His Son not sparing sent Him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross, my burden gently bearing, He bled and died to take away my sins. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to Thee. How great Thou art, how great Thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to Thee. How great Thou art, how great Thou art, how great Thou art, how great Thou art. Thank you.
Thank you, choir team, for that wonderful rendition. You may now kindly be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ICCTCM. As our welcome gesture, we would like to present a welcome dance by the college dance troupe. May I have the college dance troupe on stage, please? Orchestrated by Ms. Jinsi, dance teacher of SFC. Can we have the college dance troupe on stage, please? Thank you for that wonderful performance. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Let us give a head start to the conference by ceremoniously lighting the lamp. To do the honors, please be invited our chief guest, Ms. Hana Andrkova, Director, Czech Trade, Bangalore, Trade Promotion Agency of Czech Republic. Guest of honor, Mr. A.C.N. Murthy, Management Consultant and Zonal Governor of Rotary, International District 3192. Keynote speaker, Mr. N.R. Banamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bengaluru. Chairman, SFC, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander. Director, SFC, Reverend Brother Anthony Wailil. Deputy Director, Reverend Brother Peter Joseph. And our Principal, Dr. R.N. Subbarao. May I request Reverend Brother Balaswamy also to join for the lighting of the lamp to invoke the blessings of God. Can we have a participant to join us? Honorables, distinguished speakers, delegates, resource persons, ladies and gentlemen. The opening ceremony of the ICCTCM International Conference is going to commence by an opening address, and I would like to invite Principal, St. Francis College, Dr. R.N. Subbarao. Please be invited to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Ellargu namaskara. Respected Chief Guest of today's inaugural function, Madam Hana Ondrikova, Guest of Honor, ACN Murthy sir, Keynote Speaker, Dr. N.R. Bhanumurthy sir, Vice Chancellor of Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bangalore, Brother Xavier Alexander, the Chairman of St.Francis Group of Institution, Brother Anthony D. Violin, Director, St. Francis College, Brother Peter Joseph, Deputy Director, other invitees, chairpersons of different tracks of both online and offline, delegates from Bangalore, outside Bangalore, and also outside India, participants, invitees, and my dear students. The nature of trade before the Industrial Revolution was very different from the present form of trade, as the nature of trade has changed completely in recent times. Could be because of changes that have taken place in the 21st century, as well as the large-scale e-learning that has brought about great changes in trade. Humans have been able to develop a large number of technologies on the strength of their intellect. The development of this technology has led to a great deal of changes in commerce and management. Human resources are one of the most important factors behind these technological changes and changes in commerce and management. In this age, due to the development of technology, various new branches such as e-learning, digital marketing, m-commerce, aggregator, franchising, and KPO have all emerged. Organizations are adopting a data-driven approach to identify new business opportunities, serve customers better, increase sales, improve the efficiency of operations, and more. The amount of data generated, captured, copied, and consumed worldwide is growing rapidly due to the increased use of internet, mobile phone, and social media. In today's modern corporate environment, business intelligence and analytics have emerged as an indispensable tools for improving decision making, facilitating the execution of major initiatives, and guiding the overall company strategies. Business intelligence and analytics enables organizations to develop new innovative business models and approaches in the area of digital information. The role of analytics in solving business problems has increased manifold in recent years. The International Conference on Contemporary Trends in Commerce and Management, organized by the Department of Commerce and Management, both UG and PG, of St. Francis College, Koramangala, Bangalore, aims to bring together leading academicians, practitioners, researchers, and students to exchange their views, knowledge, experience, and insight on the emerging trends in commerce and management. I am sure and confident that lot of discussions and deliberations will happen throughout the day on different platforms on the topic of the conference. To inaugurate first ever maiden international conference of St. Francis College, we have with us as a chief guest Ms. Hannah Ondrikova, the Director, Czech Trade, Bangalore, Trade Promotion Agency of Czech Republic. Madam, on behalf of the management of St. Francis College, all those who have assembled here, I wholeheartedly welcome you, Madam. I request our Director, Brother Anthony, to welcome the chief guest with a sampling. I would like to welcome the guest of honor, Mr. A.C.N. Murthy, the management consultant and zonal governor of Rotary International District 3192. On behalf of everybody who have assembled here, I also wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. I request our Deputy Director, Brother Peter Joseph, to welcome A.C.N. Murthy with a sampling. Couple of days back, myself and Dr. Balaji and Rakesh, we could able to meet the Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics University. Before personally meeting him, I sent him mail inviting him to deliver keynote address. Immediately he responded and agreed to be here today to deliver keynote address. He is a very, very simple person, and immediately on extending our invitation, he accepted and he is with us. In fact, he came today at 9:45 itself, 45 minutes in advance. So on behalf of everybody who have assembled here, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. I request our director to invite the Vice Chancellor with a sampling. I also invite and welcome Brother Xavier Alexander, the Chairman, St. Francis Group of Institution. I welcome you, brother. I request our Deputy Director to welcome the Chairman with a sampling. I also take this opportunity to invite and welcome our Director, Brother Anthony Devilin, Deputy Director, Brother Peter Joseph. Welcome to both of you, brothers. I also invite and welcome Balaswamy to this international conference inaugural function. Welcome you, brother. I would like to welcome Mr. Tyagarajan, who is the practicing cost accountant, and he always guides me in organizing any big or small functions. Welcome you, sir. Please accept a sampling as a token of our love and affection. I invite and welcome all the delegates and participants, not only from India, outside India. Welcome to each one of you. I would like to welcome the press and media people who is going to cover the entire international conference. I also extend my welcome to the organizing secretary of the college, Dr. Balaji, conference secretary, Dr. Rakesh Nadik, co-conveners, Jasmine Rajan Netra. I welcome all the faculty, teaching and non-teaching staff of the college. And also finally, I welcome each one of you, all my students, to this international conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The most awaited thing in any international conference is the release of the proceedings. Please be invited on stage to do the honors of releasing the proceedings of the conference ICCTCM. Chief guest, Ms. Hana Ondrakova, Director, Czech Trade, Bangalore, Trade Promotion Agency of Czech Republic. Guest of honor, Mr. A.C.N. Murthy, Management Consultant and Zonal Governor of Rotary International, District 3192. Keynote speaker, Dr. N.R. Bhanumurthy, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bengaluru. Chief Patron, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander, Chairman, SFGI. Patron, Reverend Brother Anthony Violil, Director, SFC. Deputy Director, Reverend Brother Peter Joseph. Conference Convener, Dr. R.N. Subbarao, Principal, SFC. Organizing Secretary, Dr. Balaji M. Conference Secretary, Dr. Rakesh Nadik. Co-conveners, Mr. Jasmine Raj, Head of the Department of Commerce, Ms. Netra R., Head of the Department of Management. Organizing committee members, can we have all on stage for the proceeding release? Organizing committee members, Mr. Karthik P., Dr. Srikanth Rajat, Mr. Ravi Kiran, Ms. P.B. Deepa, Ms. Shringa A.M. On stage, please, to release the proceedings. Can we have the technical team? have a big round of applause? Thank you, distinguished guests. Can we have a group picture? Can we have the editorial committee on stage for a group picture with all the key managerial personnel? All the editorial committee members, could you please join us for a photograph on stage with the key managerial personnel? Thank you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to invite our dynamic director to deliver his remarks in this conference.
Good morning, all of you present. Honorable Chief Guest for the day, Ms. Hannah, Ms. Tracy and Murthy, Guest of Honor, Dr. N.R. Banamurthy, Keynote Speaker, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander, Chairman, Brother Peter, Deputy Director, Brother Bala, Dr. Arun Subbarao, Principal, conveners of the conference, organizing committee, participants, faculty members and students. St. Francis College opens this historical day in its pursuit in educational excellence with the first edition of the International Conference, Contemporary Trends in Commerce and Management. Blessed to have the presence of the eminent personalities, educators, entrepreneurs, research scholars, students. Today's youth lives in the best of times where commerce and management, the wings of science and technology, is taken a giant leap and driving the world today. In the words of Mary Parker, management is the art of getting things done through people could be a debatable sentence, but speaks loud the giant leap that the commerce and management across the world has taken. Over the years, technicals of business, human management have changed. The ahead, we must be the trendsetters, and value of trendsetters in business and management is in fact rising. We are happy to host and welcome all of you to this international conference. Hope all of you have a fruitful day ahead. We close this conference for sure with a lot of learning experience. Wishing you all the best and a wonderful conference here at St. Francis. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. It is now time to honor our guest, Mr. ACN Murthy, Management Consultant and Zonal Governor of Rotary International District 3192. Please be invited to the stage, Honorable Mr. ACN Murthy. May I request Dr. Pankaj Tiwari from the Department of PG Studies to introduce our guest of honor while the dignitaries felicitate him on stage. Mr. ACN Murthy, please be invited onto the dais. Thank you.
Shri ACN Murthy. He is a mechanical engineer by profession with a postgraduate in business administration. He has over 25 years of industry experience and played senior leadership role with several corporate houses. Currently, he is an independent management consultant. Further to this, he also carries the role of zonal governor for Rotary International Districts. He is an advisor in the board to many corporate educational institutions and holds office bearer position in many territorial trusts. In his 25 years of stint, he has visited over 16 countries and led several joint ventures, technical collaborations, and product migration. He is an eminent speaker and trained Six Sigma deployment champion from Belgium, and also conversant in concepts like 5S and lean manufacturing. Please put your hands together for Shri ACN Murthy. I would request Shri Murthy sir to please give us the address.
Good morning, everyone. Ellarigu namaskara. Please say a little loudly, good morning. That is the kind of energy I must see in the college. Each time I visit any college, I get charged up because you people give me so much of energy. One last time, say with a real good spirit, good morning. That's better, that's better. I have been given about 10 minutes time. I think that's a big challenge for me because I'm used to give lectures for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, sometimes even more than that. So I have to see how to compress it. Okay? Let me see how I can do justice in the 10 to 15 minutes time. First of all, I'm thankful to the college management for inviting me. And I must congratulate the entire team for organizing such a wonderful event. The seminar about contemporary trends in commerce and management. I have given several lectures at various places related to how best can you manage your business and economy. I have three basic things which generally I talk about. One is obviously about the business strategy. What product to make, how much to make, where to produce, which market segment, etc. And the commitment that you need to have. I'm not going to talk about that now. The second part is about how do you adapt to the conditions, especially when changes are happening in the market. If you look at our own, in Indian situation, we had some companies which had best of the products, best of the market. At one point of time, they were even market leaders. For example, Hindustan Motors Ambassador car. At one point of time, they were ruling the entire market. Just because they did not adapt to the changes that were happening in the technology and market, they did not survive. The third and another important point is, which is what I'm going to talk, is I hear a lot of noise from the backside. Kindly please, give me 10 minutes of your patient hearing. I'm sure you would appreciate it. The last part which I would like to talk today is about who is your competition. You must be wondering, what is this he's talking about? Who is your competition? Many of you youngsters, tomorrow when you pass out, you'll become business leaders. You'll probably manage your own business, or sometimes you may take up leadership position in some organization to take care of it. But one basic question I would like to ask all of you is, who is your competition? You may say it is quite simple. Suppose you are doing a particular product or some kind of a service provider. If you are got another agency or company doing something similar, becomes your competition. If you are running a shop, a fellow who is offering similar product or service becomes your competitor. If you have got a product, another product maker, similar maker, will become your competitor. You go and talk to Ola, he will say Uber is my competition. You go and talk to a particular TV channel, he will say another channel is my competition. I don't think I have come here to talk about this competition. Believe me, my friends, in the last 25 years, the entire definition and meaning of competition has gone through such a big metamorphosis. The business parlance, what we talk about, has gone through a real paradigm shift. I'll talk about the next few minutes on what is this new definition of competition. I read about a few days back in Economic Times, this one industry which is making chocolates and toffees and then candies. You know, we used to get these eclairs chocolate and then various types of toffees. This industry is on the verge of closure. This industry is in the verge of closure. Does that mean children have stopped eating toffees? Or many of we elders, we don't like toffees or candies anymore? No. Why is this industry going on the decline? There is a very interesting and a shocking answer. A few crores of business which was happening in the toffee industry used to come because the shopkeepers did not have change to give. Many of you go to a vegetable shop or a nearby grocery vendor. Suppose it is 98 rupees is your bill and you give 100 rupees. What they used to do for 2 rupees, they used to give you a chocolate. This was unimaginable proportions. It was a few crores industry. Today, thanks to Phone Pay, Google Pay and Paytm and all the online transfers, if it is 97 rupees 50 paise, you transfer 97.5. Silently, one industry is getting killed completely. If you were to go and talk to the managing director or the marketing director of a toffee manufacturing company and ask the same question which I asked now, who is your competition? His answer would have been probably another similar toffee manufacturer. But the real competition happened to be somebody else who was more deadly and more fatal than what they thought. It is this which I would like to talk for a few minutes. A few decades back, in US, when Pepsi and Coke were, having marketing wars between them, spending millions of dollars on advertisement and then countering each one's ad, etc. One day, the marketing team and the think tank of Coke sat together, and the CEO of the Coke company asked all his marketing leaders, who is our competition? No marks for guessing. Everybody said, Pepsi is our competition. He said, no. An average American consumes about 1,500 ml of liquid in a day. I use the word liquid in a day. Out of this 1,500 ml, about closer to a liter is water. The rest of 500 ml consisted of coffee, beer, tea, maybe fruit juice, etc. Maybe about 100 to 150 ml was beverages like Pepsi or Coke. He said, our real competition is this balance 1.4 liters, not Pepsi or somebody else. Not that Pepsi is not a competitor. The real competitor is this 1.4 liters. Then he said, each time an average American feels like drinking something, he should have a Coke available to him. It could be a bus stand, it could be a railway station, it could be a mall, it could be a theater, it could be anywhere. Each time he feels like drinking something, make sure a Coke is available to him. Then they came out with the concept of vending machines. Today, you know, worldwide, you go to any mall, you go to railway station, you go to bus stand, you go to any public place, there are vending machines available in many countries. Of course, in India, it is picking up still in a large, not on a large scale. So that each time a person feels thirsty, feels like drinking, he should be able to get a can of Coke. This is how the real competition started emerging. Now let's come to the Indian conditions. I'll give a few examples of Indian economy. In my childhood days, when I was a student like you, we used to have something called as alarm timepiece. How many of you know what is an alarm timepiece? Raise your hand. Very few. Very few. Although I see not many students raising their hand. You know, you used to have a small round device where you could set the alarm. I want to get up at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. It used to ring. And then it used to have a spring on the top and whatnot. If you were to ask a director of an alarm timepiece manufacturing company, who is your competition? You know what would have been his answer. Silently, this industry got killed. Who killed the alarm timepiece industry? Who killed? Mobile phones. Today, you keep a mobile phone next to your bed. That will serve as the, your device for alarm timepiece. The entire industry got wiped out silently. There was another company called HMV, you know. It was a famous company selling music. We hardly hear about HMV today. You know who was a competitor for HMV? Surprisingly, it is Airtel. People started downloading music from Airtel, 10 times the value of music that was being sold by HMV company. Silently, a small mobile company, which was in a nascent stage, became a killer for a large music company, and nobody realized that for HMV, Airtel could become their competitor. I'll tell you a few more things in our day-to-day life. In another 3-4 minutes, I'll close. I used to see a lot of post boxes during my college days. Every major area, every street corner, there used to be a red-colored post box. Now, how many post boxes do we see? In fact, we have to show our children, this is called as post box. And trust me, it's a matter of time. The same thing will happen to the post office itself. It's a question of time. Then who is the competitor? Who killed the post offices or the post boxes? For example, emails. Then we have got our WhatsApp. These things have started replacing an industry silently without even understanding. Why I am giving some of these examples is that many of you commerce and management students will become future leaders. When you take charge as a leader in any industry, whether it's your own or somebody else, please remember what I told today and ask yourself, who is my real competition? Of course, there are physical competitors available, but please be aware of the fact that who is my real competition? I'll just give a few more examples before I come to my closure. If you talk of airline industry, suppose you go and tell Lufthansa, who is your competitor? They would say British Airlines, Air France, and whatnot. Can anybody guess who is a real competitor for an airline? Now we have got all these online tools which are available. You have got Zoom meeting, you have got many other platforms which are available where it has substituted physical travel. Today you can have people across the world coming on a single platform face to face. Then why would you travel? So the real competition for an airline industry is not one more airline. This is the online tools which we're talking about. Similarly, another interesting fact I read about a few minutes back, about a few days back, for the Bollywood film industry, who is a competitor for Bollywood? If you go and ask a Bollywood producer, he would say another producer is my competitor. Surprisingly, the competitor for Bollywood industry is T20 cricket match. People need 3 hours of entertainment, whether it comes from a movie or a cricket match. They choose what is good for them. Now you have got the ICC cricket schedule has been announced. There is an India-Pakistan cricket match. There is an India-Pakistan T20 match. Nobody goes to a movie on that day. I don't think anybody could imagine at any point of time that for a movie industry, cricket could become their competitor. These are just few examples which I wanted to tell you. I just got 2 more minutes. With that, I would like to close. I can assure you, my dear friends, this trend is not going to stop. Be aware and then take note of this fact. You will see many more things right in front of your own eyes having their natural death. And you just can't do anything about it. Let me give you a few examples. I noted down a few. Number 1, the physical process of writing a check. You have got now RTGS, you have got PhonePe, you have got Google Pay, many things. Slowly, the physical form of writing a check will vanish from the market. One day you will have to see that checkbook becomes a museum item. Post office, I already told you. Physical form of newspaper. Physical form of books. And another thing which I already see having a natural death happening is landline phones. They're already on the verge of decline. Then, after this OTT and other things came in, you see more of online entertainment, and TVs also will come under a lot of threat. There will be very little hard disk moving forward. Whether it is your phone or your computer, we will all go into cloud saving. The cloud will take care of your storage space. Writing, we all have forgotten. We all have forgotten handwriting. I would even say, going one step further, writing letter also will be forgotten. Last but not the least, in fact, I should put this on the top of this thing, is your privacy. The meaning of privacy will be gone in the coming years. With many tools like, we have got artificial intelligence coming in, chat GPT, etc., things have become even worse. In fact, my today's speech could have been written by chat GPT. It can write your thesis, it can do your tour itinerary, it can give you legal advice, it can give you medical advice. Imagine if this kind of AI continues to dominate in the next 10 to 15 years, what will happen to many professions. Yesterday I saw in Times of India that one movie song has been produced with a male singer and a female singer voice with no human beings. It is just artificial intelligence. We could produce Balasubramaniam, Dr. Rajkumar, Puneet, Muhammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar, you name it. We don't need any singers in future. You could have a classical singer, you have got a movie singer, all will be done by artificial intelligence. There is a software called Watson, some of you may be aware. It gives free professional service which will replace many professions in future. So this is going to be the trend. Paucity of time, I cannot go more into it. I can talk about this for a very, very long time. All that I'm going to tell you is that there is a paradigm shift happening in the complete, I would say, if you look at the business environment and the ecosystem that we are talking about, please be aware of it. What you study in your academics, in your textbooks, the reality is something a lot more beyond that. You need to recognize these facts and then prepare yourself to be good leaders of tomorrow. I would like to close this with a small quote from the language of English. They say, yesterday is an experience. Today is an experiment, and tomorrow is expectations. My advice to all of you young leaders is that please use yesterday's experience to experiment today to meet tomorrow's expectations. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, sir, for that words of wisdom. Can we have a big round of applause for our honorable guest, Mr. A.C.N. Murthy. Without further ado, let me invite Dr. Pankaj Tiwari to the podium to introduce our chief guest for today, Ms. Hanna Ondrukova, Director, Czech Trade Bangalore, Trade Promotion Agency of Czech Republic. To do the honors of felicitating our chief guest, may I invite our dignitaries onto the stage.
Ms. Hanna is the director and in charge of the Bengaluru branch of Czech Trade, a trade promotion agency of the Czech Republic. Before joining here, Hanna worked as a head IP for an European Union agency based in Delhi to help European Union SMEs to channel in India. Hanna has also gained a lot of experience in intellectual property rights while working for a top-tier Delhi law firm. Hanna studied in the Czech Republic, Germany, and earned a master's degree in aeronautical engineering. Please put your hands together to welcome Hanna. Now I would request Ms. Hanna to address the gathering. Please come.
Good morning to everyone. I hope you will understand my foreigner accent. So if you do not, tell me to slow down. So first of all, I would like to thank to St. Francis College for inviting me to share a few of my thoughts on international relations, so to say, between India and Europe and Czech Republic. So as said before, I represent a national agency called Czech Trade, and our function is to help Czech companies to internationalize to foreigner markets. And India is, of course, one of them. You, as young people who want to see the world, might be asking, why do these foreigners want to come here? Not only the Czech Republic, which is, by the way, size of Bangalore, because our population is barely 10 million, but also the EU. Actually, India is currently what we say the golden star in the world's map. As was said before, you young people are the golden generation, because you will be able to get the advantages of the past in terms of your culture, and you will get the economic benefits which are happening right now. The reason why the world, not just Europe, is looking at India is that you or we have one of the youngest population. I don't know if you know the numbers, around 65% of Indian population is under the age of 35. That makes you the youngest population in the world, right? India, except for this, is becoming the economic giant. We expect that by 2027, India will have $5 trillion economy, which would also make you the 5th largest consumers market. As you will graduate and will start getting jobs, you will see, as Sir Murthy was saying here, a lot of opportunities. There is increase in aviation industry in India, circular economy, obviously manufacturing with the programs like Make in India. And I think for you, it will be new opportunities. because the India which you see today will be very different, which your children will see 15, 20 years down the line. I don't want to go to too much details because I'm sure we are all running out of time. I would just like to highlight here, as you all will grow to be successful, please don't forget about the challenges which the economic advantages will bring you. More manufacturing will mean more pollution. You know, more use of cars and whatever will mean more use of your resources, like let's say lithium in Kashmir for the batteries. You know, more consume will more waste. So all that will be challenges which you, young generation, will have to face. So whenever you are choosing these jobs, think also about the environment, think about the others, because 80% of Indian population is in poverty, how to elevate your other citizens, help them to generate jobs. And most of all, how to make lasting international relationships. So this is all from my short notice. And if any of you would like to have chat about, international relationships and how it works abroad, please feel free to get in touch. Again, thank you very much for inviting me over. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your wonderful experiences with us. Honorables, distinguished speakers, delegates, resource persons, ladies and gentlemen, both who are here and also who are joining virtually in this opening ceremony of ICCTCM International Conference, it is the honor for us to have a keynote speaker from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bengaluru. The Vice Chancellor and his speech will be presented by Dr. N.R. Bhanumurthy. Before the speech, please be invited on stage for a felicitation. May I request Dr. Pankaj Tiwari to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. N.R. Bhanumurthy.
Dr. Shri N.R. Bhanumurthy is the first Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bengaluru. He is a distinguished academician and researcher with the focus areas in macro-monetary economics, fiscal policy, international money and finance, macroeconomics modeling and development economics. He has authored over 70 several research papers and 5 books. He had brief stint in renowned institutions across several countries such as US, Nepal, and Bhutan. He has been a consultant to many international financial institutions and led United Nations development programs. He has served over 22 government committees. Currently, he is serving on advisory committee on ways and means advanced to state governments constituted by RBI. Advisory Committee on National Account Statistics constituted by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and many more. He has been the Secretary of the Indian Econometric Society since 2006 and also Managing Trustee of Indian Economic Association Trust for Research and Development since 2010. Please put your hands together for Dr. Shri Bhanumurthy. I would request Dr. Shri Bhanumurthy to please address the keynote.
Brother Xavier Alexander, Brother Anthony Wailil, Chief Guest of this international conference, Ms. Hannah, Guest of Honor, Mr. Murthy, Dr. Subbarao, Dr. Balaji, faculty members of St. Francis College, participants of this international conference, and my student friends. Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me thank St. Francis College for inviting me to this, the first international conference on contemporary trends in commerce and management. When Dr. Subbarao messaged me, I immediately accepted for my own purpose because like you, I am also very new in terms of building an institution. So I'm very new to this whole business of building an institution. I was a simple researcher working in some small corner room in one of the institute in Delhi. So when I was brought here to establish an institution, so I'm learning in a way to see how a new institution can be built, and at the same time, what are the challenges and what are the expectations. So we are learning each other in that sense. So first of all, I'll invite all of you to my campus, as and when you have some time. Please visit us. It's one of the emerging institutions. It's a very specialized institution only for economics. And one of the things that makes us much more special is it is under the state government, and this is also dedicated to a legendary Indian, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was first an economist, then only became a legal expert. So in fact, he got two PhD degrees in economics from London School of Economics and Columbia University. So I invite all of you to visit our campus as and when you have some time. Coming to this conference, I know previously Professor Murthy and Hannah has left a lot of time for me. I thought Professor Murthy should have taken a little more time, and so that I had a little less to speak. But there is a risk of asking the faculty members or teachers to speak for 20 minutes. So, I mean, you know very well that once they get into the class, they don't, until the bell rings, you don't stop. So I don't know when the bell rings for me. So with that risk, let me speak something about the conference and also about what exactly happening right now. And as Hannah really pointed out, we are actually in a very, very interesting situation right now, particularly the young generation, they are here. I'm sure you should realize that India is actually, you must have heard in the textbooks, right? India is an emerging economy and all those things. But you should be happy to know that India has actually emerged as a very important economy in the world, and not just because we have 140 crore population, but I think we have, as she pointed out, we have a very vibrant, young citizens of this country, and I think that makes a lot of difference for our country when it comes to the growth of the economy. I think 2027, 5 trillion economy, these are all just numbers, but we are actually looking for much, much larger from the young generation that we have here. So we are very confident, and I think by 2047, as Prime Minister actually called for, India should become a developed economy, right? I think we need to become a developed economy by 2047. By 2047, you all will come to my age. So I'm sure when 2047, when you are celebrating, you will be very proud that Indian economy has actually become a developed nation with just a span of 100 years from the time of independence. But there are many challenges that you might face. I think Mr. Murthy pointed out many challenges that you are going to face in the coming period. You didn't tell about one more important aspect to be kept in the museum, that is the brain. Because when you have artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and many more coming up, what's happening is that it is not making them to really think. So, but my feeling is that maybe after a cycle, again the ChatGPT also will give you a blank. Because you also need a lot of big data to really emerge whatever the queries that they ask. So if there is no information, they'll keep giving you old information. So I think it's important for people to really keep that aside, and you need to really think more when it comes to. So in a way, it's going to be a challenge for all of us, for the institution that we are running. You cannot go with the same kind of a curriculum. I think you cannot have a same system where you make students to come and sit and write, and you by heart and all those things. You make sit and ask them to do some assignments. They will give you in 1 second. So I think we need to have, it's actually challenging the education institution, how we can revive or reform our own teaching systems. Students, how many of you know that India is actually leading a G20 presidency? All of you know about it? What is the theme of the G20 presidency? Don't ask ChatGPT. What is the theme of the G20 presidency? Pardon me? You are not a student. So only up to that generation know what is the theme of the G20 presidency. India's presidency is a very important episode of this country, not only the country, but for the world economy. Okay? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. What is meant by Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? Again, student this side. No? Don't worry. You will learn it after this talk. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam talks about universality, right? I think one of the important things that India is contributing to the world economy is to make, the world as a one village, global village that they talk about. I think that makes India has a special in the whole G20 presidency. And I request Dr. Subbarao to really have a session on what is the G20 presidency and what are the things that we are doing under the G20. Because the whole aim of the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, is that G20 discussions, deliberations should not be limited to only Delhi and Bombay. And I think there's so much of activity happening. Even if you're just walking on the road, you will see some posters about G20 in Bengaluru and other places. But I urge all of you to really look at what exactly India is doing under the G20. I think that should be maybe one assignment kind of things you can give, so that let them know what exactly India is doing under the G20 presidency, because it's going to be a memorable event for not just for India, but for the whole globe actually. G20 is, if you ask me what is G20, I'll tell you G20 countries produce 85% of the GDP of the world, 75% of population it contains. Okay, so just 20 countries. So I think that makes very important. The G20 bloc becomes very important. And first lesson today for all of you, as part of the International Conference on Commerce and Management, you just try to understand what is the G20 and what are the issues that G20 is facing. And I think in one of the, I think maybe Mr. Murthy or somebody spoke about it, important challenge the commerce and management is going to face is about the topics that are covered under the G20 presidency. One is the ESG that we talk about. Somehow that ESG doesn't fit together. In fact, we are forcing the E, S and G to stay in one bottle. Although those three are very contradicting to each other, but most important part of the G20 that we are talking about is the green issues or the climate change issues. The reason why there's so much focus on India is also because if India can adopt the climate change issues or climate mitigation policies, the global economy would be in a much better place. How many of you heard the Prime Minister's call for Mission Life? Mission Life, LIFE. A general knowledge question for all of you. Mission Life, it's not meant for us. Mission Life is going to be mantra for next 20, 30 years, for your profession. But I'll tell you what is meant by life. Lifestyle for environment. How recently when Prime Minister came to Bengaluru, he was wearing one of the jackets which was made out of plastic bottles, like the bottles that we have, right? So these are the things that you are going to really face, and I think it's very important for young generation to really look at all those things. In terms of the commerce and management, my grudge with commerce is very simple. We don't update ourselves when it comes to accounting and auditing purpose. We still must be reading Shukla Grival. I don't know. Is still there Shukla Grival book? Is it still there, that big bulky book? Yes? So that is so outdated, and it is not, I mean, one of the reasons why when it comes to the cross-border business and cross-border trade, this Shukla Grival is the culprit there. You know, until unless we don't update ourselves, we don't update what's happening. In fact, in the G20 presidency, I'm chairing one of the themes under the G20 presidency. We are talking about how there could be some cooperation or collaboration to establish a common platform for auditing firms. Even within India, you see, one auditor will give you one certificate, another auditor will give you another certificate. Okay? So I think when we go to audit only, we think that okay, the auditor is only meant for manipulation. Oh no, one auditor manipulates much better than other manipulator. So this is actually become, you know, problematic for doing business in the country. I think, so in fact, those who are part of the commerce stream, I think we need to understand, you need to really look at how you update your knowledge, you know, from what's happening in, there are so many technical issues are coming up in terms of, you know, the opening up of the economy. In fact, before you are born, I think in 1991, we have opened up the economy in a big way. The reason why Bengaluru today is Bengaluru because of the kind of reforms that were being brought in the post-1991, and that brought in a lot of challenges for commerce and management. I think one of the challenges is about how to integrate our domestic accounting systems with international practices. Okay? International taxation is one major area for people who are working on commerce and management, and I think all these issues need to be, you don't worry if your faculty don't teach you in the class. Right now everything, there are so many YouTube channels, you can still have your own, there are so many Coursera's. One thing I want to tell to, even I tell to my students also, don't depend everything from the classroom. In fact, the whole world is in your mobile phones, and I think there are so many courses, there are so many videos where it will help you to understand, you know. In fact, I tell very clearly to my students, just don't limit to what I teach in the class. What I teach in the class is just only 5% of what you should be learning. The 95% you should be learning from outside, and I think that needs to be, I think students have to really focus on all those things. In terms of database, for example, commerce and management, as Dr. Subbarao told in the beginning, I came at 9:45, right? It's all because of the big data. Yesterday I was checking at 4 o'clock how much time it will take for me to reach from Nagarbavi to here. It showed me 55 minutes. Today I came in 40 minutes. Why is that? Can anybody tell me why is that Google is showing like this? Yes? No, I thought let the students speak. Let the students speak. Yesterday at 4 o'clock I was looking at Google. It showed that 55 minutes it will take for me to reach here. But today morning I reached very early. Why is that? You don't go on the roads or what? Yes, please. Huh? See, in one day it will update. Every day they update. So whatever is information that's available, you need to even to use it, you need to have brain. Because I know at 4 o'clock it's a traffic period. The morning there is no traffic, so I came early. Okay? The dependency on big data will actually lead to this kind of wrong decisions. Ultimately, what you need to make is decision making, right? And whatever the decision that you make is based on the past experience or past performance or past data that we talk about. As a statistician, I keep questioning this whole concept of big data. It is not a, what do you mean by big data? Do you have a session on big data in your classes? There is no session on big data? Analytics? So big data is something nobody can see it. Big data is, it's not like, you know, you can store it in one place. The reason I'm just giving you one example, ultimately in commerce and management, everybody what they do is forecasting. Okay? Forecasting is the major, I mean, you may not know what you are doing, what you are going to do when you get into some companies, but forecasting is the crux of, all decision making process. So when you want to do forecast, how do you do forecast? Forecast is based on the past performance, past data, past experience. But when it comes to this kind of information, you will not be able to do any good projections. Okay, let me ask you, what is the GDP growth of India? I'm a bad economist because I only have questions from economics. What is the GDP growth of India? No? Tomorrow if you go for campus placement, they will ask you first question. What is the GDP growth of India? Why Ms. Hannah told that we will become 5 trillion economy by 2027? Anyway, these are questions you can take it and send me the answers later. But when it comes to decision making, I think data becomes an important aspect, okay? And most of the times, you don't have data for any decision making. For example, if you're going for marketing, you're going for, financial sector, a lot of things depends on the forecasting purpose, and then for that you need to have a lot of data. But when it comes to Indian context, you talk about big data and all those things, but my feeling is that you don't have a relevant data. You may have a big data, but you don't have a relevant data. I'll tell you one nice statement by one of the central bankers, one of the very well-respected central banker of this world. How many of you know Dr. Y.V. Reddy? Dr. Y.V. Reddy, nobody knows? Dr. Y.V. Reddy is the one who rescued this country from global financial crisis. Okay? When the global financial crisis happened in 2008, India was rescued because of the governor that time, Dr. Y.V. Reddy. So he says in one of the statements, generally the future is uncertain, right? You don't know what happens tomorrow, day after tomorrow and all those things. But when it comes to India's statistics or data, even the past is uncertain. What does it mean? You would have got some GDP numbers today, you would have got some stock market data today, but it is subject to revision after 2-3 years. That means you cannot use the current data to even forecast. So the point I am trying to tell all of you is that please think. No, don't get into this chat GPT and artificial intelligence. In fact, my own students, they started looking at chat GPT and artificial intelligence. Then we are looking at chat GPT, whether this has come from there, how many marks we have to give. So many issues are happening for us. So I think most challenging for all of you is that the kind of economy that our previous generation has given to all of you, actually you need to really take off from here. If you don't grow at 7%, 8% from now on, I think, there are 3 Ds which makes India as a special place. What are the 3 Ds? I'll tell you, one is democracy, then second is demand. Why this whole European Union or the America or everybody is focusing on India is because we have 3 Ds. One is democracy, second is demand, and demographic dividend. Okay? So I think for all these 3 to be really doing well so that you become advanced economy after 20-25 years is the productivity of all of you. I think what's important from you is that this country expects so much from you that by 2047 we need to become a developed economy, and I think the way Prime Minister is calling the youth to contribute to this nation by growing at least 7 to 8% per annum, for that I think everything depends on your performance, and of course the institutions like this are just a tool for all of you to really take off. And at least my generation, we are very confident that, you are going to do well and you are going to see this country to be at par with advanced countries in 2047. And for that, please, I request all of you to look at what exactly happening. One thing I just wanted, which should not happen, is that, as Mr. Murthy pointed out, you will not see hard copies of newspapers. The only difference that can happen between, not having newspapers and having newspaper is that India could become developed country by 2047 or not. If they don't read newspapers every day, hard copies, we are not going to reach 2047. I think you need to really, and wherever I go, I can tell to the people, I know faculty don't read, that I assume. Don't bother about whether faculty is reading newspapers or not. In fact, for the students, please subscribe one newspaper. I keep saying a monthly cost of the newspaper is the cost of one burger that you eat in a Pizza Hut or pizza, whatever it is. It's just one pizza cost is your newspaper for a whole month. So please subscribe, and I think if you read the newspaper, physical newspaper for 1 month, you will see a lot of difference in what you understand. And one last point I'll just tell and I'll stop there. Because you are from commerce and management, I have been having this question for the past 45 years or so, because I am from this region. I am from neighboring state, which is Andhra Pradesh, and I am from Chittoor. If you travel from Bengaluru to Tirupati or Bengaluru to Chittoor or Chennai, and that old Chennai road, you will see that there's most of the places you will see that a lot of tomatoes are thrown on the road. Okay? Even today if you go, you will see that a lot of tomatoes have been thrown just aside the road from Bengaluru to Chennai or Tirupati. But if you have seen the newspapers today, tomato prices, may know how much is tomato price? You are not bothered, somebody else is buying, right? What is the tomato price now? 100 rupees. Tomato price is 100 rupees in just 30-40 kilometers from where it is thrown on the road. It is a challenge for people from management. Why is this happening? Not today, for the past 40-50 years since I am born. Maybe it's happening even before. Even today, you see there is, I'll request Professor Subbarao to really see that whether there can be a case study on this. Why just 30 kilometers from here, tomatoes are thrown on the road, and 30 kilometers next to that, the price is 100 rupees. If we can get this answer for this kind of a dichotomy that we have, I think you will make this country much, much better than what it is today. Because I am not getting that answer. There is so much of incentives being created for the food processing industry. There is so much of tax exemptions. I'm sure Mr. Murthy knows about it. But then we have this dichotomy. Somewhere the price is 0, somewhere just next door the price is 100 rupees. And I know that's exactly where the role of managers come in. Why there is so much of dichotomy between these two kind of markets. You are going to study about market behavior and everything, but this has to be really understood. And I think that's where the whole challenge, you read a lot of theory in the class, but when it comes to practice, we need to have this kind of practices. Maybe you should have a visit, just like that morning you go and come back in this road. I keep driving on that road every time. This is the same scene. I see this for the past 40 years or 50 years. I think, so that needs to be really, once you have answers for this, as I told you, I'm sure you are going to become one of the best managers in this country. And in terms of one reason, another D that why India has been made the important country, as again one of the speakers spoke about, digital public infrastructure. I think India's contribution to this world in terms of digital public infrastructure is another reasons why we have become a bright spot I must say. In fact, all the international agencies are saying India is the bright spot, not because just for 1 day or 2 days, but you're talking about the digital public infrastructure, which is almost free in many places, right? When you're using, what is that, a DBT, there is no charges. It's a free of cost. In fact, even today, the American citizens are carrying many things in hard copy. We don't carry anything in hard copy anymore. Everything is there in this. DigiLocker, again, it is India's invention. Okay? In fact, the COVID, the way we managed, I think all shows that India is a leader in these 4 Ds I told about. Democracy. In fact, we are the largest democracy in the world. Demand, again, we know that just recently we have crossed Chinese population. We are talking about demographic dividend, 65% of young population in the world, and the digital infrastructure. The way we have overcome and all these things is amazing. I must tell you, the way the things happened since 1991, with due credit to every political parties ruled this country since 1991, they were all on one page that India should become a global leader when it comes to economy, business. Of course, there are many challenges that we have, like as Dr. Hannah pointed out, the environmental issues are one reason that we need to really look at. But otherwise, I don't have any doubt in my mind that by 2047, you will be leading, you will be part of the country which is just on the top of the world in terms of the economy as well as other development indicators. With this, I wish this international conference a grand success, and I look forward to get more information about the paper that is going to be presented today. I just had a glance. There's so much of interesting papers that have been going to be presented with a very short period of time. I think by evening you are going to see some 140 papers are going to be presented, right? So that's going to be a record in my view. Okay, 140 papers in just half a day is going to be a record, and I think, particularly I would like to go through the papers for which you are going to be giving prizes, so that, and we'll happy to have them to be making presentation in our campus also. So with that, let me thank again the college for giving me this opportunity to share some of my views on what exactly the challenges that you are going to face in the coming years, and at the same time, some of the prospects that you are going to, reap in the next couple of decades. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for taking us through the journey of changing Industry 4.0 with business data analytics, Internet of Things, AI in all the fields existing, with 360-degree shift or change in dynamics happening in the field of commerce and management. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to the architect of SFGI, a great visionary, Chairman of SFGI, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander. Without any further ado, please be invited to the podium, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander, for his presidential remarks.
Honorable dignitaries, faculty members of St. Francis College, brothers, students, and all who are present for this International Conference on Contemporary Trends in Commerce and Management. In early 60s, Marshall McLuhan coined the word global village. And in the 70s, two American physicists, Fritjof Capra and Alvin Toffler, spoke about Alvin Toffler wrote a book on future shock, and Fritjof Capra against the technological development that would happen in the later years. All these define what happened after year 2000. In 1990 and 91, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was finance minister, he signed the Globalization Pact. That was the onslaught of globalization in the country India, and thereafter business boomed and many technological revolutions happened in the country, and all that we heard about from all the speakers is the effect of that globalization and the technological development that happened in the world around. By the middle of 21st century, by 2050, the IR 4.0 will reach its peak, industrial revolution, and unimaginable things will happen as we will not be able to even recognize the persons who will be speaking from the stage. Trends like AI-powered personalized marketing, customer support, smart search, and automation are now widely used in many businesses' day-to-day operations. An evaluation of the upsides and downsides of AI in human resource management is essential, even as we operate with all these systems. To boost e-commerce sales, strategize your marketing around AR, augmented reality and virtual realities, reward programs, social commerce, and subscription models, all are in the waiting. Recent trends in management refer to the latest managerial practices that managers use effectively manage their employees. In 2023, we can expect to see continued growth in social commerce, personalization, AR, VR, augmented reality and virtual reality subscription services, and sustainable and ethical shopping practices. Retailers who stay ahead of these trends and provide exceptional customer experiences will be well positioned for success in the years to come. Be equipped with the latest digital tools and techniques to meet any future challenge. It's time to prioritize digital transformation. Digital transformation is critical for business to remain competitive in today's fast-paced, constantly evolving market. There is a rapid expansion of management, education, and training programs in universities and management institutions. Some management institutes, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Bengaluru, and Lucknow, are recognized world over for their high standards of education. There is an increasing need of global management skills, workforce diversity, outsourcing, knowledge management, learning organization, time management, business process engineering, conflict management, and stress management. And besides, what do we call it, that there is a development management for livelihood. One example, where the Vice Chancellor of Dr. Ambedkar University said the livelihood of people, how the managers can give direction to these kind of agricultural products, in the agricultural sector particularly. I met one of the MBA students who passed out from our institute in Mumbai some years ago, doing this, pulling a trolley cart and selling vegetables, fresh vegetables. He's an MBA. And going around selling for a very menial price for the people's use, unadulterated item directly from the farm. His father had a big acres of farm, and he produced items from there, and he
selling on the roadside with a car, even on a cart. So this kind of situation is very important in a country like ours, when the US is investing $1.4 trillion in these sectors in India for the development of the poor and the downtrodden and the less privileged. We need people from the commerce and management sectors to get involved in the development of the people of our country. That is ultimately all education should lead to, the development of the country from the lower strata of lower rungs of the society. That is what every academic institution should focus on, how the development can be. It is not on the industrial development alone, but from the lower, that everyone comes at pace with. Everyone comes to the same standard of living. Then only a country can be fully developed. We don't find even in the other countries, but so-called developed countries also, the rural villages, the rural areas are totally undeveloped. But when we think of our country with the highest population of 1.4 billion, we need to reach out to every sector of our country. As Madam pointed out, 65% of the Indian population is below the age of 35. Young energy, young mind to understand. We need to focus on all these people and tap the resources from all these people who will listen to us for the development of the country. Any government should come join hands with the educational establishments, how we can bring up the country in these for the total development. One thing is that earlier, BC 420, Heraclitus, one of the philosophers, said, change is the only thing that is permanent in the world. Everything changes. Everything is in a flux. What we see this moment is not what we see the next moment. As Adi Shankara in his Maya philosophy says, everything is anicca, it goes. Everything goes from our eyes. Nothing is real. Which means he emphasizes on change. The change is happening in the country, in our own lives. Tomorrow we do not know what is going to happen in the industry or in the institutions of established institutions, etc. All this has to happen, and we need to understand this, use our intelligence and education and all that we have, the resources for the development of the well-being of our nation and community. God bless this conference on commerce and management. May all of us be enlightened at the end of the programs, and may it be beneficial to our students as well as who are participating and the others who are in the institute. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, for your blessings. While we come to the end of this opening ceremony, may I request the Organizing Secretary of ICCTCM, Dr. Balaji, Academic Coordinator, PG Programs, to propose the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed delegates, it is my privilege and honor to stand before you today to express our heartfelt gratitude on this momentous occasion, the inaugural session of International Conference. I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed chief guest, Ms. Anna, Director, Czech Trade, Bangalore, for gracing us with her presence and for sharing her invaluable insights with us. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to extend our gratitude to our guest of honor, Mr. A.C.N. Murthy, a renowned management consultant, for taking his time to join us today and for adding value to this conference with his vast knowledge and experience. Thank you, sir. We are truly honored to have Dr. N.R. Bhanumurthy, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bengaluru, as our keynote speaker, whose profound words have resonated deeply with all of us. Your wisdom and visionary ideas have undoubtedly paved way for new horizons in our respective domains. We are grateful for your presence, sir, and for sharing your invaluable insights and set the tone for reminder for this conference. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us. Our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to our brother Xavier Alexander, Chairman, St. Francis Institution, Bengaluru, for presiding over this conference. Your presence has brought a sense of importance to this event. We are grateful to your constant support and encouragement in making this conference a reality. Thank you, brother. I would also like to express our deepest gratitude to Brother Anthony D. Violin, our beloved director, for his guidance and leadership. Without your unwavering support and vision, this conference would not have been possible. Your commitment to excellence in education and research is truly commendable. Thank you, dear brother. We are also grateful to Brother Peter, the Assistant Director, for his constant guidance and encouragement. Your dedication to fostering an environment of knowledge and innovation has paved the way for this remarkable conference. Thank you, brother. We are also grateful to our Dr. R.N. Subbarao, the principal, for his invaluable contribution and support in organizing this conference. Your tireless efforts, behind the scenes, and has ensured its a smooth conduct of this international conference. Lastly, I would also express our sincere appreciation to Dr. Rakesh Nadik, Academic Coordinator, UG Programs, and Conference Secretary for International Conference, for his leadership. Your commitment to academic excellence has laid a foundation for this conference and will continue to inspire us all. I will also take this opportunity to extend our gratitude to the organizing committee, the volunteers, and all the delegates for their active participation. In conclusion, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to all the dignitaries, speakers, and participants who have graced this occasion with their presence. Your expertise, knowledge, and insights have enriched our understanding, will undoubtedly contribute to the success of this conference. Let us embrace the spirit of collaboration, learning, and innovation. As we move forward together, let us make this conference a memorable and transformative experience. Thank you once again for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There are a couple of announcements. We will be breaking for 15 minutes from now. We'll all assemble back at 12:15 in our respective tracks for technical sessions of 4, which is happening in 503, 504, and 507, and 508 room number in the 5th floor. We also have online tracks which are happening virtually in 2nd floor rooms, starting from 203, ranging till 211. So delegates, we'll break for tea right now. On your left side, tea is being served very close to the reading room, close to the quadrangle. On your left, can we break for tea? We will all assemble back at 12:15 to the technical sessions, which will happen in 5th floor and 2nd floor. 5th floor, we have 502, chaired by Dr. G.H. Nagraj, Dr. Swaminathan. Track 2 happening in room number 504, chaired by Dr. Bhavani and Dr. Srikanth. Track number 3, room number 507, chaired by Dr. Srinidhi. Track number 4 happening in room number 508, chaired by Dr. Lalita Raman. Now we break for tea, and we shall all assemble back for panel discussion after lunch at 2 p.m. The lunch break will be between 1:15 to 2. 2, we are assembling back for panel discussion, and panel discussion will happen till 3:30. 3:45, we all assemble back for the closing ceremony of ICCTCM. Thank you.